Hey, it's Zedicat. Sorry for the long hiatus. Welcome back to my game devlog. The last time I said I wanted to make a homing missile that turns realistically and predicts the shortest path to the target. This gonna let me down a rabbit hole into trying to build a projectile-based aimbot. This is my new updated video formats, so you guys can follow along better and it helps me get to the point. Now back to the video. Right now my goal is to make the projectile-based aimbot / movement predictor so I can slap the code right on top of my homing missile. Very quickly, I found out it's a math problem with the two cars and when they'll meet. But it's in 3D space and with direction, so holy shit. My primary school math is not gonna cut it this time. Even more problems. Even after I figured out how to solve the math issues, I realized some numbers in the debug.log is not right. So somewhere in my little machine, some cogs were broken, and finding out what was broken was truly tiresome and a pain in my fat ass. And even after I think I fixed those issues, my aimbot still doesn't work. And we are where we are today, where I am contemplating this hobby / career that is giving me emotional damage. Goddamn, this is one depressing devlog, but I'm very happy to say that I learned a lot from all this failure. So here's a quick list of all the problems I ran into and how I intend to move forward. Overall, I wasted a lot of time. I keep trying to brute force this math problem, and I clearly didn't have the skills. So if I can't do it myself, I should seek help from ChatGPT, Google, YouTube. And when I use the keywords predictive aiming unity, this fine gentleman by the name of Jean Gobert de Coaster, I can't pronounce it, I'm so sorry, enlightened me with the law of cosines. And with ChatGPT, I finally cracked the math problem. Next thing, math equations. Math equations are not my forte, and and again, the solution is to consult the big three: ChatGPT, Google, YouTube. Which is your best bet because someone probably encountered your same problems. Especially ChatGPT is very good at explaining documented math problems with enough prodding. Next problem I encountered is my spaghetti code, which which made it really hard to debug. So I need to start building code with foresight to help me isolate the issues because shit gets complicated very fast when you have a lot of moving parts. Hey, now to show you what I've learned so far. I've learned how to solve the quadratic equation for the whole movement prediction. So here's how I solve it more or less on paper at least. So you want to shoot a moving target and here's what you know. The target's direction and speed, your bullet speed, the target's current location, your current location, and the angle between the target's direction and the bullet. So here's a makeshift diagram to illustrate what's going on. To solve this, we need to know the distances traveled by either the target, bullet, or the time it takes to do so. And so with a triangle, we want to find sides or angles we don't know. We can use the law of cosines, which will be c squared equals b squared plus a squared minus 2ab cosine y. C, the side C being the side you want to find, and the y looking symbol is the angle opposite the side you want to find. So in our case, the angle opposite the side we want to find is angle VA, and the side we want to find is BD, which is the bullet distance. Why we don't find any other sides is because we only have angle VA to work with. Okay, I'll start referring to the distances traveled by the target and bullet as TD and BD, which stands for target distance, bullet distance, and their speeds, TV and BV, which is target velocity, bullet velocity, so you guys can follow along a bit better. Okay, now we need to start substituting everything into our cosine equation, which is c squared equals a squared plus b squared minus 2ab cosine y. And since we don't have the distances, we can sub it in because we know the speeds with speed times time, which in this case will be bv times t, velocity times time, and tv times t. target velocity times time. Now I'll stop saying the full thing since you already know what it means. Okay. So here's the plugged in numbers. Algebra. Now you can kind of see what's going on and what is what. Next thing I'm gonna do is move everything to the left side. So whatever minus goes to plus, whatever is plus goes to minus. Simple. This helps us perform the quadratic equation that is required later on. The next thing I'm gonna do is expand bv times t square and minus tv times t square, so it's easier to work with. And then I'm also gonna move the the 2ab cosine y1. I'm gonna move its t all the way to the end for aesthetic purposes, so it's easier to see what I'm trying to do later on. So now we have expanded it. We can collapse bv times t square minus tv square times t square into bv square minus tv square times t square. So now it starts looking like the quadratic equation, which is quadratic equation will be ax squared plus bx plus c. So you can clearly see that instead of x we have t. So our a value will be bv square minus tv square. Our b value is 2vd times tv times cosine va, and our c value is minus vd square. So once we start plugging it into the equation, the solver below, we can get our value for t, which is the time pass, the time of interception. So once we have the time, we can multiply the time with the target's velocity, which is the distance and which is the speed and direction of the target. To get the point where the target and bullet will eventually meet. So one more important thing is that when you're using this equation to solve, is that you have a positive and a negative value for time, and you always use a positive value because negative time does not exist in this case. Yes. Ka-chow. Next thing I learned is how to reference variables and variables from other classes and scripts. So to do so, if get component does not work, you can always use find object of type and input your class name. So in this case, the class will be random move, and then the instance name will be random move with all lowercase. The r will be lowercase this time, equals find object of type, and then the class name, which is random move. Easy peasy. And then from then on, anything that's public can be easily referenced. You can take the information from the variables inside the class. So my next move is I plan to remake and rebuild the aimbot from the ground up with all the lessons I learned, and after that, I finish the micro missiles. So here's a quick summary. Problems I face. I waste a lot of time from all my poor planning and stubbornness, and I lack a streamlined workflow for bigger projects, things with a lot of moving parts. I need to be able to identify and isolate the problems where they are very quickly. If not, it's really a pain in my ass and it's exhausting. And then things I learned how to do. I learned how to do the quadratic equations. I learned when to search up for solutions and when I should really get help. And I learned different ways to references other classes. Okay, that's all this time. I'll try to post back as soon as I can. So yes, stay tuned. Goodbye and have a good day.